Cimanuk village is a place located far inland, isolated from busy urban life. The village is surrounded by dark and dense forests, making it feel like a world apart. However, behind the apparent calm and peace, there is a mysterious story that has been circulating for generations. Cimanuk village is filled with legends about ghosts and supernatural creatures, but what the villagers fear most is the Pocong. Pocong is a spirit trapped in a white shroud and usually appears after someone dies in a tragic or cruel way. This story begins on a dark night and cold wind. A man named Surya has just returned to the village after living in the city for many years. He had to return to the village because his grandfather was seriously ill. Surya is a skeptic and does not believe in stories about Pocong. One night, when he was sitting in the village hall with some of his old friends, they started talking about the Pocong that the villagers often saw around the forest at night. Surya just smiled and thought of it as an old man's absurd stories. He even offered to go alone into the forest to prove that the Pocong was just a lie. The next night, Surya took a flashlight and walked towards the forest. The forest was very dark and quiet. The sun continued to go deeper. The further away from human voices, the darker and more eerie it felt. He didn't expect that he would encounter anything so terrifying. When Surya arrived at the place known as the place where Pocong appeared, he began to feel restless. However, he continued to move forward and tried to find evidence that the Pocong was just a myth. Suddenly, he heard footsteps coming from behind him. He turned his body and illuminated his surroundings with a flashlight, and there, in the light of his flashlight, Surya saw something that made him freeze. A figure stood tall in front of him, wrapped in a white shroud hanging above the ground. It was a real Pocong, unlike anything he had ever imagined. In panic, Surya tried to run away, but his legs and arms felt heavy and paralyzed. The Pocong approached him with slow steps, as if walking underwater. Surya felt suffocated with fear. Suddenly, the Pocong spoke in a soft, trembling voice. "What are you looking for, human?" Surya couldn't answer. He could only stare at the Pocong with eyes full of fear. The Pocong then said again, "You tried to prove your disbelief in us, but now you know that we are real. Remember, life and death are complicated mysteries, and the unseen world has secrets that are difficult to understand." Before Surya could respond, the Pocong disappeared in the blink of an eye. Surya fell to the ground, full of fear and regret over his decision to try to face the Pocong. Since that night, Surya has never again doubted the existence of Pocong or other supernatural creatures. He has been a direct witness to the invisible world that exists behind our real world. The legend about Pocong in Cimanuk village lives on and continues to be a story used by parents to warn their children not to underestimate the power of the supernatural world.